You need to get out of the house more. You got XG?
I came prepared.
You got XG? You got up to stats that have come in since 2007?
I've also just gone Premier League. I haven't involved any of the cups.
No, so that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. And this is why I'm going to get it started right now. Welcome back to another official FFS video. I don't know if we've dropped the official yet, but we're still FFS. I've been fighting this battle diligently all of my life.
The kid is his.
The past year.
The kid is my son.
Carry on.
I've been fighting this battle diligently. I just want to see my son now. And it all just came about that last week at work. I was just talking to the lads and I made some pretty big statements in the office. I had two things, but today we're going to talk about the one. The other thing definitely
the statement.
My other statement was I thought that England probably would have been better without Shearer in the 90s.
Oh no, that's a great statement.
Yeah. I said there was more balance.
I can't really think of who was it because obviously I've never watched.
W in the chat.
So
basically, every black striker in the Premier League was behind him.
Yeah.
Righty,
Cole, Sheringham,
yeah.
Fowler. Didn't really get a kick in there.
Prime Fowler as well.
Yeah. Letizia could have played the team.
Owen was Owen.
Owen was late 90s,
yeah,
late
yeah,
90s.
yeah.
But like, so someone like Matt Letizia is one of the most technically gifted players that England's ever seen. Never got a kick in.
True. He never have a cap for England.
I think it's got 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Marcus, you're the stat man. You can check that out. But so that's another story for another day.
Huh?
Oh yeah.
My point is Alan Shearer is the greatest goal scorer in Premier League history. The stats clearly say he has scored the most goals in Premier history. Therefore, he has to be the best goal scorer.
Yeah,
he's not in my top 5 strikers in Premier League history.
Ridiculous.
And you know what? Someone alerted me to one that I forgot. So he's not even in the top 6. My top 5, without a doubt, Shearer doesn't touch him. For forwards, strikers, players that play in that position up top.
Yeah.
I have Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney was one of the most underrated players ever. Like he was top 3 Ballon d'Or level for a lot of years.
Yeah.
But he also, gave it for other people, didn't he?
I think his problem was he wasn't a striker. He was better as a Bergkamp, a supporting striker. I think.
Later on, when he lost a bit of the touch.
No, but even before then.
Not before.
When he was number 8 originally.
So honestly, I reckon if it wasn't for someone like Fergie, Rooney would have had more goals. I think Fergie managed to get him at a good age to mould him, to give him the respect, to say, you have a bigger part to play in this team than score goals. Because when he came in,
also
he was a goal scorer. Then Ronaldo came and found his pump. Ronaldo was the main one. When Ronaldo left, Rooney was on fire. He was scoring goal after goal after goal. He's a better actual footballer than Shearer, and he only finished like 42 goals behind him. And Shearer was out and out number 9 his whole career. Rooney played off the left for United. Rooney played centre mid for United. He played centre mid for Everton. But
he had a better supporting cast than he did, so he didn't need to bear the load as much of a Shearer.
And also the fact of the matter is, everyone talked about the goal scoring stuff. So what Rooney's got, he's one of the best players England ever has, and he has the accolades to back it up. With the amount of Premier League titles he's got, the amount of Champions League he's got. I also had Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I think this one's hard because he's still playing.
He will, on projection, take over really, obviously. There's what? As the stats say.
He's on 198?
He's on 199, Rooney's on 208.
Is he third all time?
Kane, yeah.
I'll have to check it, but I think he
is.
is.
Cole's on 200 or something.
Cole's close. Cole's top 5.
Yeah, I know that.
Cole's 4th, I'm pretty sure, because Rooney was the only one.
Harry Kane's 3rd, 199.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Aguero's top 10.
Yeah, Cole's
Aguero's
187.
top 5.
Cole's 187. Cole's 187. Aguero's 184.
Yeah.
Until Kane overtook him this year, or last year. Aguero had the most goals for one club in the Premier League history.
I'll tell you the players I've highlighted. I think it was.
I'll get to my top 5 quickly. So, like I said, Kane at the moment, because he's playing, I hate Spurs, but you've got to understand how good he is.
Yeah.
I also have Aguero.
Yeah.
if you're not from the country and you score 184 goals in what?
275 appearances for City.
Exactly.
Best goals per game ratio in Premier League history.
He
Better than
played for what, 9-10 years in the Premier League? So he signed in 2011.
I'll come back to that.
2021.
21, I think he left.
Yeah.
He joined in 11 12.
So Aguero's my one. Thierry Henry, the best player to ever play in the Premier League, without a doubt.
Is he an out and out striker though?
Yes.
He forced himself to be that.
So basically,
Not in terms of how he actually played.
The thing is, we played a 4-4-2, and people try to get over technical and say what a striker is and what a striker isn't. The striker is a focal point of a team that is there to score the goals.
So during my playing career, would I have been a striker?
Yes. Because you played up top, you just drift wide. If you drift wide to pick up a natural position that's comfortable to you, to pick up the ball in half spaces, to then Henry could beat a man, score from distance, score a tap in, score the occasional header, left foot, right foot. He is what I think of a striker as a full package. He got robbed of 2 Ballon d'Ors.
Yeah.
Thierry Henry is the greatest player to play in the Premier League at the moment. My final, so I've gone Rooney, Kane, Henry, Aguero, and my last one. I had quite a few people here that I can't remember. This is where Shearer gets in the conversation, and he could be. But I have Suarez.
That's what I said. I had Shearer in my top
I think personally, I think for that, maybe it's a bit of a thing for watching Man City or whatever. But I do believe. I don't think the titles make and break a player, but I do think the fact that Harry Kane doesn't have a league title, Shearer does, as the amount of goals he does, 260.
Everyone that we've mentioned has a league title apart from Kane.
Yeah. Kane's not even 30.
But Kane,
but he needs.
Let's say, for example, Suarez doesn't have a Premier League title. Liverpool didn't until Klopp come. Yeah, but Luis Suarez, Kane never took, like, even when they finished third when they should have been second, and when the whole Battle of the Bridge thing happened, that's the closest they've ever got, isn't it? That season, when Leicester won it.
Right.
Yeah, when Leicester won it, Even that season, you wouldn't say Kane was like, he took them, put them on their back, and like was the focal. But when you think of that Tottenham team, you don't go Harry Kane. Whereas Liverpool were a fucking Crystal Palace fuck up away. Well, there's other factors as well, but basically a Crystal Palace fuck up away from winning the Premier League. And Suarez and Sturridge, but especially Suarez with 31 goals, was the biggest reason for that.
So Harry Kane has been a one-season wonder for his first 5 years. He played.
No, he's crap. But I think what Shearer takes him over, because you're comparing Shearer. If you go off, it's not like a case of where Harry Kane has more goals than Shearer. Shearer has a Premier League, so that's the argument he has. It's the fact that Shearer has more goals and the Premier League.
I want to say Kane and Shearer have similar profiles in terms of the way they're playing.
Yeah, and Shearer
it's
has 1 Premier League. Has he got a League Cup?
I didn't check for League Cups.
Has he got an FA Cup?
I didn't check Premier League stats.
I don't believe he does, because
so his trophy accolade is next to nothing.
He has 3 golden boots.
He has 3 golden boots. How many?
And he has 1 Player of the Season. He has 1 Premier League trophy.
What about Kane?
Kane has 3 golden boots. He has that's it. That's the only accolade apart from his Player of the Month, where he's got 7 compared to. He's never won Player of the Year. He's 7 Player of the Month, and Shearer has 4 Player of the Months.
That's crazy. And I also think that you got to remember as well, Kane is part of the most successful goal scoring duo in Premier League history.
Kane and Son the most successful.
Kane and Son have scored and put on for each other the most goals in Premier League history.
But the thing is about Shearer compared to Kane. Kane, true, he didn't technically have a choice of who he kind of played in terms of Tottenham. He comes from the youth academy, he played for them, and he's tried to leave. To be fair,
he has tried to leave.
Yeah, and but Shearer, his stats were doing better, because realistically, he was United were after him. United wanted him, and he decided to go to his boyhood club.
Shearer's stats are insane. I think for his whole career, every match he's played in, he started. I think that's correct.
Also, you got to remember, this is the one thing. Like I said,
how many seasons out injured?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on my own story here. Shearer played half his career with them knees.
Shearer could have had at least.
His ACL lost all his pace.
Also has early onset dementia. Because of heading the ball.
Shearer could have ended with 300 Premier League goals. If you look at his stats and the seasons where he took those, he had 2 seasons where he played 10 and 19 games, and I think respectively he got like 4 and 9 goals.
But you remember, Harry Kane didn't score in August for his first 8 years of his career.
But Jordan, until 3 seasons where he was injured, he played pretty much average 30 games and averaged about 30 goals. So he was pretty much a 30, 28 goal
out of my strikers, who would you take out for Shearer?
But then also playing devil advocate against my own thing like Jordan's done. Kane played 38 games a season. Yeah. Shearer for most of his career played 42 games a season.
Not most.
It's not most.
Not most.
When has he got rid of it?
I think they'll do it in like 95. I think it was the year after they won.
Oh, was it? Maybe not then.
Yeah.
But still, he had a lot of seasons.
Yeah. So he had the extra games in the league, but I don't mind that. But who would you take out to replace him? So if you had to put Shearer in the top 5 that I gave you, so Rooney, Kane, Aguero, Omri, Suarez, who comes out?
For me, Kane.
Longevity wise, I'm taking that Suarez.
I think impact.
But I'd argue Suarez's prime was better than every single one of those.
Suarez's prime was in the Premier League.
Yes.
Yeah. Because Suarez is the only person. I know he's not Premier League. It's Barca. He's the only person to outscore Messi in a season. Whilst at Barca,
not many people
in the prime of Messi.
What? I said this the other day. Not many people leave the Premier League and pick up better players.
Yeah.
Suarez did.
He scored 40 and like 33 or 34 in the league.
We're just doing Premier League. That's why like players like Drogba can't come into people's top 5s, top 10s.
Drogba never does. Drogba is, as I said, I've always said that if I had a manager and a player, if it was a game for my life, one game to admit, Mourinho and Drogba every day of the week. Drogba's the most clutch striker of all time.
But like I said, in the Premier League, he's so overrated because of what he does in the FA.
I think he had a 29 or 30 goal season.
Do you know how many goals?
I've always said Eto'o over Drogba.
Do you know how many goals Drogba scored in the Premier League? Over 2 stints at Chelsea.
No, just a bit over 100.
101 goals.
Yeah.
I think
everyone puts him in the league.
Theo Walcott has similar.
Yeah.
But I think that's the reason is because, let's say for example, this is what Harry Kane is for me. You're like, is he in there or not? Even take the league out of it, I can't think of a big moment where he's like, oh, he was there, he scored, he went on a run. Whereas Drogba, that's why he's in that combo. Because when people think of Drogba, they think of FA Cup final,
which is Premier League, not Premier League.
But Rocket, even when the Premier League, he was there, he was scoring when they needed him.
He won I think the one time he won Golden Boot, or he might come second to an Alca. Yeah, it was one of the lowest goal scoring seasons in the Premier League. I think he comes second on 11 goals.
Yeah,
didn't Frank Lampard score him in 3-4 different seasons?
Outscored him.
Yeah. But it's like kind of in a similar vein. Obviously, kind of going a bit off topic, but like Vincent Kompany, is he defensively as good as your Rio Ferdinands, your even Van Dijk? I'd argue he's not better. But the reason I have him above Van Dijk, and Vidic, people like that, is because when it matters, when I think of Kompany as a Man City fan, I think of the Leicester game, which I was at, and he scored that goal, and I was saying don't fucking shoot, and he shot and scored. I remember the header against United in the 11-12 season at the Etihad. I'm pretty sure he's got another header as well when in one of the other. And when he went on a 15 game where all season he was injured, he played 70 games that season with 15 being in a row when we won 13 in a row.
That's the issue. I'd have this conversation about defenders again because I don't think Kompany's in my top 5 either for centre halves in the Premier League on actual ability.
I agree with that.
When he goes to back again to my argument about strikers, I'm not going off their goal scoring ability. I'm not necessarily going off their accolades. I'm going off what players are the best players in that position that I've seen.
So that's what I'm saying. That's where you talk about impact. That's when you talk about things like memories when they come up in big moments. Because those big moments are 3 or 4 times a season. But if you're looking at a Premier League, that talks longevity.
It's 38 games. You can't have a player that's good in the one game a season. So, for example, if you knew that if I'm Arsenal right now, and I put on, I don't know,
Rob Holding's going to clutch out a game with a fiver.
Yeah, if I knew that Rob Holding was going to come on and score against City both games, I'd be happy, but I wouldn't hold him in any higher regard.
No, but the difference is, that's the difference between an Origi and Drogba. Origi's not bagging you 20 goals in a season, or even 15 goals in a season, but he'll score when it matters. Whereas Drogba would bag you 15, maybe 20, and bag when it matters.
But remember this, Drogba scored 101 Premier League goals.
Yeah, I know.
And he's put in the elite category. Less goals than Crouchy.
True. But once again, I think you've got to put the context, because at the end of the day, let's say, I don't know, even this season, Haaland, I love Haaland. He's had the greatest start. This is factual. It was backed by stat. The greatest start to a Premier League career ever. Arguably any fucking league's career ever. Yeah. And has he, other than the United 6-3, and maybe there's another game I'm forgetting about, he's not necessarily rocked up in the big games. He's not scored in the big games.
There's this overemphasis on being good in the big games.
The big games. Matter. No, but if you're looking at the big games, they make up a max 8 to 10 games a season. There is still another 20 games.
The problem is with everyone that says about big games, because they are the best players in the world, they don't get the chance to impact the game in the big games, because the better players and the better teams can do more to neutralise the threat. And that's where other players come in. That's where, like, when you played against Chelsea, Haaland was nowhere to be seen. He was getting marked out by arguably the best centre-back of the league at the moment, who's 38, Thiago Silva. And they played 3 at the back of that game. So, that all their attention on Haaland for so long, it allowed Guardiola to bring on Grealish, who's one of the greatest. He's brilliant at taking the ball past people, winning stuff, getting the ball across the box. He brought on Mahrez.
Yeah.
Because everyone was so gravitated to Haaland, because he's not. This massive name doesn't play well in the big games. Just him being on the pitch allows someone like Mahrez to get that back post.
That's true. I agree with that.
So
but I also think the reason we signed.
I want you to both wrap up this debate about this, and then go on to who you actually think the best players are, and argue your points about that.
Okay, so you've done your top 5. So I'd say my top 5 in order. I'd say number 1 for me is Aguero. Henry, then Aguero.
Yeah.
Then I'd go. So number 3, I would say Wayne Rooney, then Shearer, then Suarez.
Is that objective or subjective?
In terms of,
to you, is that just your personal opinion of, well, I like Aguero more than I like Shearer? Or because
if it was off opinion, like for example, my opinion would always have David Silva top of any player of all time.
No, but this is
strikers. No, because but I think like Henry, I think obviously stats speak for themselves. He's got the most assists in Premier League history in a season. He's always up there for goals, and he's second to only Aguero of goals per game or whatever it is.
Henry, was it the 20 goal, 20 assist season that's only been done one other time?
No, it's never been done before. Because no one's got 20 assists. The closest Ozil was 19.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have got 20 goals.
No, we got 20 goals.
Exactly.
No one was
De Bruyne's got 18 and like 10 goals or something.
Yeah.
But then Aguero, however many goals scored for City, important goals as well. You can add to that. And also the fact that he only ever scored less than 20 goals once or twice, I think. And even then, he played like 23 games or something. And like most seasons, he'd play less than 30 games.
Do you know something?
And then what would you have?
So you had Rooney. You had
Henry, Aguero, Rooney, Shearer, Suarez. So Rooney, most goals in United history, which is a pretty big achievement for a big club like that, with vast history. Also the fact that he's at Everton as a young kid, he was bagging, come to United over many years when they had different focal points. Your front three of Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez, Nani, Rooney, whoever, like he was always there. Moved further back and still bag a decent amount. Then you got number 4, I'd say Shearer, because 260 goals, won the Premier League with Blackburn, went to Newcastle, still bagged at a Newcastle team that was regressing. Really, when he joined, was at the peak. He was at his peak. He slowly regressed to the point where 2006, when he retired, 2 years later they got relegated. Was it 2 or 3 years later they got relegated?
When did he sign for him?
Was it 2000 or 98? No, 98. Yeah.
Have a quick look when he signed.
I'll have a quick look, but I don't want to say it's during their regression.
No, I don't think it was during the regression.
I think it was when he joined was the peak, and it was downhill from when he joined. In terms of like, it wasn't they were during their regression; they were at the peak. They were like going up.
The team's quality at the time was good enough to be in the top 4. Because it wasn't in 2001 that they
He joined in 96.
Yeah. 96, so that's a long time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, was it 2001 they beat Barcelona in, was it 97? They beat Barcelona in the Champions League.
I haven't checked for you.
Have a look on Wikipedia. So
yeah, let's say it's a long time down the line. Got to see this Barcelona for a while. Anyway, you two keep talking while I find the stat anyway.
Yeah, but so Shearer, I think it was realistic. Like whether they may have been on a slight upward trajectory, whatever. But I'd argue for most of his Newcastle career they were going down. I'd argue.
I don't disagree.
I think they were.
Off what?
Because they're just getting worse and worse to the point where they went from the Kevin Keegan. I'd love it if we beat them. I'd love it if we beat them. To the where 06 he's left. He's retired. Sorry, and within 2 years he's interim manager, and 2 or 3 years interim manager, and they get relegated.
Villa were like 5th, and then we got relegated like 4 years later.
True, but I feel like back then it was less volatile.
I think that I think now there's less cycles of like dominance and power because the top teams have so much money. For example, Chelsea and Liverpool have an off-season this year.
But I think it's more volatile.
You're getting away from the point, and you're making great points and equal points, but you're getting away from the main fact that we're talking about
top 5.
Yeah, not even top 5. You said the best Premier League striker.
Yeah.
And you said
okay. So
have you both agreed on Ring?
So what? So number one, we've agreed on Ring. Yeah.
I find it difficult to have a list.
Are you saying it's difficult to?
I don't have top 5. I didn't say the best. I just said my opening statement was that Shearer is not in my top 5.
So it's more about does Shearer make a top 5 or not?
I can understand points for why, because like you said, 260 goals, Premier League title.
Yeah.
My thing is that if you're going just looks, it's Henry.
Yeah.
If you're going goal scoring ability, it's Shearer and Aguero. So out of my top 5, I think the only one you can take out for Shearer is Aguero. No, Kane does everything for that Spurs side. He wins the ball back deep. He stays high. He scores goals. He assists.
But that's another thing. It's unfair. So, for example, Aguero.
They're one of the best. I think Spurs have got one of the best front threes in the league, and they have for the past 5 years.
No, but true. But their midfield. It's one of them where does Aguero? I could as a City fan here. Does Aguero score as many and as prolific if he doesn't go from having behind him Nasri and Silva to Silva and De Bruyne to De Bruyne and Bernardo?
I think this argument annoys me. It's like when people say, "Oh, if Sterling didn't have pace, he'd be shit." But he does have pace, and Aguero had.
No, what I'm saying is that's what you can say. Harry Kane does all this for the Tottenham squad, but if you come to Man City last year. Does he score as many? Because he's not, or does he look as good because he's not doing as much? So if you stick Aguero in that, if you stick Shearer in modern day, maybe he has to evolve his game and he has to go deep and he looks better.
It's like Haaland scoring goals for fun, and people are saying he's making the City squad worse because he doesn't do more than just score goals. Kane's ability is more than just to score goals. He puts on assists. He's the first line of the press. He tracks back. You know what? He's slow as shit. But he somehow manages to get himself around the pitch. He takes people on. Harry Kane is what you want in a modern day number 9.
You know, I've seen Harry Kane go through on goal, go through a back line, and he's slow, but he's not slow enough to where people catch him most of the time. Yeah. He maintains a distance, and once you're through 1-on-1, Harry Kane is scoring more often than not.
Exactly.
9 times out of 10 gonna.
When Harry Kane misses, people go, "What? What? He just missed it." Look, genuinely. Harry Kane has had a few bad moments in his career that is going to define him for the rest of the time. But when we look back at Harry Kane,
down.
Yeah.
I'm
even more sure of Shearer in front of goal.
It's hindsight though. Genuinely, it's hindsight. When we look back at Harry Kane in 10 years, and we'll be like, you know what, he scored.
I think what skews all our vision is the fact that even Jordan, the oldest out of the 3 of us, still didn't see Shearer technically. You would have been what? An infant. When Shearer at the end of his career, you'd been a fucking infant.
And things though.
You'd been what? 10?
Yeah, but
like
when you go back and look at compilations as well,
exactly.
You only see the last goal, and you don't see the phases of play.
Exactly, and it skews it really. YouTube highlights fucking skew everything.
I don't watch YouTube highlights. I try.
That's why Giroux's the best striker to ever live.
Yeah. But my thing is that what is the point of looking to say fuck? Yeah, that's it. It doesn't matter how someone scores a goal.
It's just it goes in.
No one knows what the goal looks like when it goes next to your tally.
True.
So Suarez can score 45 yarders from wherever it goes in Norwich, and fair play to him. And I think this is why people say that, you know, Shearer's better than Kane and Rooney's better than this, because at the end of the day, no one sees what the goal looks like. They just see 260.
Okay.
And that's a fair point to make. But when you look at a footballer, their ability in and out of the game, I just don't think Shearer is in my top 5. And people think that because he's not in my top 5, I find him shit. He's not shit. One of the greatest goal scorers of all time, no matter what league, no matter what level he is. But if I wanted 5 strikers tomorrow at their top, at their best, their peak of their abilities, I'd probably put Shearer at 7. I'd have Van Nistelrooy over him.
It's a good shout.
Van Nistelrooy was ruthless. Look, I genuinely started the argument about Drogba versus Vardy. And because of the name Drogba, because of what he's done...
Oh no, Vardy always was above Drogba.
Vardy's fantastic. He's scored the most goals in the Premier League since turning 30. His first goal came at 31.
Yeah.
Like, some of these things...
I think he still holds a record for being the most expensive non-league transfer, or player to come from non-league into...
1 million for Fleetwood.
1 million for
Fleetwood.
But,
I do want to say that you both argued some good points, but I want to end off on some final notes because I'm aware that it's dragged on for a little bit. So, are you saying?
Don't fine. I've gone back to I'm going back to my initial hypotheses that Shearer is still not in my top 5.
And are you agreeing or disagreeing with that point?
Number 4 in mine.
You're wrong. You're out of order.
So,
Fuck off.
Oh, I just knew that was going to happen.
Alright, we're signing off.
Disgusting.
Boys, lads. We're signing off. We'll be back with another football debate at some point.
Yeah.
Who knows what is, but yeah, it's enough for us. Peace.
Sound.
Did you just say sound?
Yeah, we always say peace around here. There's no sounds.
Peace. We need to get a